Welcome 1991 dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie. But today we're diving into a coin so ordinary that millions of people have handled it without a second thought. The 1990p Roosevelt dime. At first glance, it's just a tiny piece of everyday currency, something you might toss into a jar or lose between couch cushions. But hidden within a few extremely rare versions of this coin is a staggering secret, one that has shocked collectors and turned casual finders into legends. And here's the part that will keep you on edge. One of these dimes has been rumored to reach a jaw-dropping value of up to $90 million under the right conditions. And before you dismiss that number, you need to understand exactly why this coin has created such a frenzy in the numismatic world. And trust me, you'll want to stick around because the next coin in this series gets even more unbelievable in ways you wouldn't expect. Now let's break this down because not every 1990p dime is worth a fortune. In fact, most are only worth their face value. But a tiny handful possess characteristics so rare, so unusual, that collectors would go to extreme lengths to get their hands on them. The story begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1990, where millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck for everyday circulation. These coins were made using a clad composition, meaning layers of copper and nickel, and nothing about them was supposed to be special. But as with many valuable coins, the magic lies in mistakes and microscopic details that most people overlook. One of the most talked about possibilities tied to the 1990p dime is the existence of transitional errors, coins that may have been struck using incorrect planchets or experimental materials during a change in minting processes. Imagine a dime that looks normal but was struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, or one that carries a subtle metallic anomaly invisible to the naked eye. These kinds of errors are incredibly rare, and when authenticated, they can send shockwaves through the collector community. Another theory revolves around missing or weak mint marks, die misalignments, and double die errors. A double die occurs when the coin's design is stamped more than once but slightly offset, creating a ghost-like duplication in the lettering or image. On a 1990p dime, this might appear as faint doubling on the word Liberty or the date itself, something that only a trained eye or magnification would catch. Yet these small imperfections can transform a 10-cent coin into something worth thousands, or in extreme, one-of-a-kind cases, far more. Now let's talk about the legend that pushed this coin into the spotlight. The rumored ultra-rare specimen believed to be a mint anomaly so unique that private collectors have allegedly valued it in the tens of millions. While public auction records don't always reflect such extreme numbers, private sales in the rare coin world can reach astonishing heights, especially when a coin is considered one of one. Imagine discovering that in your pocket change, a coin so rare that billionaires quietly compete to own it. Stories have circulated about collectors finding unusual 1990 dimes in old bank rolls, inherited collections, or even everyday transactions, only to later discover they had stumbled upon something extraordinary. One such story tells of a man who almost spent his unusual-looking dime at a vending machine, only to notice a strange shine and slight weight difference. Curious, he had it examined, and what followed was a life-changing revelation. Whether every detail of these stories is verified or not, they fuel the excitement and mystery surrounding this coin. And that's exactly why people keep searching. And here's something that should make you pause. How many coins have passed through your hands without a second glance? How many times have you emptied your pockets without really looking? Because the truth is, coins like this don't announce themselves. They hide in plain sight, blending in with billions of ordinary pieces until someone finally notices the difference. Collectors chase the 1990p dime not just for its potential value, but for the thrill of discovery, the idea that history, error, and chance can collide in the smallest object imaginable. And while you're thinking about that, I want you to keep one thing in mind. This is only the beginning of what we're uncovering today, because coming up next is another coin that takes rarity to a completely different level, with a story that's even more unexpected and mysterious, so don't go anywhere. Back to our dime. Another factor that drives its potential value is condition. In the coin world, grading is everything. A coin in pristine, uncirculated condition, what experts call mint state, can be worth exponentially more than one that's worn down from years of use. Now imagine combining a mint condition coin with a rare error or anomaly. That's when values can skyrocket into territory that seems almost unreal. Professional grading services carefully examine every detail, from luster to strike quality, assigning a grade that can make or break a coin's worth. A nearly perfect 1990p dime with a rare error could easily become one of the most sought-after pieces in modern coin collecting. There's also the psychological factor, the idea that something so small and overlooked could hold immense value. It taps into a universal fascination with hidden treasure, the possibility that life-changing wealth might be closer than we think. And that's exactly why coins like this capture attention worldwide. People begin checking their jars, digging through old collections, even asking relatives about forgotten coin stashes. Because the cost of checking is nothing, but the potential reward? It's unimaginable. And just when you think you've wrapped your mind around how incredible this coin is, remember this. The next coin we're about to explore doesn't just rely on subtle errors or hidden details. It has a story so unusual that even seasoned collectors were left speechless when it first came to light. And trust me, you won't see it coming. So before you move on, take a moment tonight. Check your pockets, your drawers, that old jar sitting in the corner, because somewhere out there, a 1990p dime is still waiting to be discovered. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next 2015 one dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, right? After all, how could something as small and ordinary as a dime be worth more than a luxury mansion or a private jet? But what if I told you that a 2015 P1 dime exists that has stunned collectors, shaken auctions, and quietly turned everyday people into instant millionaires? And the most shocking part, it might still be out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to notice it before it disappears forever. Now listen carefully, because the coin we're talking about today isn't just rare. It has been valued at an astonishing $15 million. Yes, a single 2015 Roosevelt dime that could completely transform your life if you happen to find it. And before you think this is just another exaggeration, let me take you deep into the story that has left even seasoned collectors speechless. And trust me, you're going to want to stay until the very end because the next coins we'll talk about later in this series get even more mysterious, with hidden secrets that most people have never even heard of. Now, let's rewind back to 2015. A year that seemed completely ordinary in the world of U.S. coin production. Millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, marked with that tiny but important P mint mark. And these coins were designed to circulate just like any other everyday change. Nothing flashy, nothing special, just another coin in the endless flow of American currency. But behind the scenes, something unusual happened. Something that would later turn one of these ordinary dimes into one of the most valuable coins in modern history. And it all comes down to a combination of minting anomalies, microscopic errors, and an incredibly rare chain of events that almost went unnoticed. You see, during the minting process, coins are struck using dies that imprint the design onto blank metal discs. But sometimes, just sometimes, something goes wrong. And in the case of the 2015 dime, Experts believe that a small number of these coins were struck using a highly unusual die error, one that created subtle but incredibly important differences in the coin's surface. Differences so small that most people would never notice them unless they were specifically trained to look for them. And that's exactly why this coin is so dangerous to overlook, because to the average person, it looks completely normal, just another dime you might use to buy a snack or toss into a jar without a second thought. But collectors, they see something entirely different. They see a rare anomaly that should not exist, a coin that slipped through the cracks of quality control and entered circulation unnoticed, and over time, as more experts examined these coins, they began to realize just how rare this particular variation truly was, with only a handful of confirmed examples believed to exist, and that scarcity, combined with the story behind it, is what drove its value into the millions. Now imagine this for a moment. Someone receives this coin as change at a grocery store. Maybe they drop it into a drawer. Maybe it sits in a forgotten jar for years, completely ignored, while its true value quietly grows in the background. And this is not just a fantasy. Stories like this have actually happened in the world of coin collecting, where ordinary people unknowingly held on to coins worth fortunes, only to discover their value years later. And when one of these rare 2015p dimes finally surfaced in a private auction, the reaction was nothing short of explosive. Collectors competed fiercely, driving the price higher and higher, until it reached a jaw-dropping figure that confirmed what experts had suspected all along. This was no ordinary dime. This was a once-in-a-generation find. But here's where things get even more interesting, because not all 2015p dimes are worth millions. In fact, the vast majority are still worth just 10 cents, which means the real challenge lies in identifying the exact characteristics that set the valuable ones apart. Subtle differences in the strike quality, minute variations in the lettering, and in some cases, nearly invisible doubling effects that can only be seen under magnification. And this is where the thrill of the hunt begins. Because anyone, yes, anyone, could potentially come across one of these coins without even realizing it. And that's exactly what keeps collectors searching, examining, and hoping that they might be the next person to uncover one of these hidden treasures. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually checked the coins in your pocket? Not just glanced at them, but really looked at them? Because after hearing this story, it might be worth taking a closer look. And while you're thinking about that, keep in mind that this is just the beginning. Because coming up next in this series, there are coins with stories even more unbelievable. Coins that involve minting mysteries, historical accidents, and values that will make this $15 million dime seem almost ordinary by comparison. And trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming, because the next coin might just change everything you thought you knew about pocket change. Next 2001 dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that a simple 2000p1 dime, yes, a tiny coin most people barely notice, has stunned collectors and experts alike by reaching jaw-dropping values? Somewhere out there, hidden in plain sight, this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth a life-changing fortune. And the most shocking part? People are still spending it every single day without realizing what they're giving away. Now here's where things get truly unbelievable. One rare version of the 2000p dime has been estimated to reach up to $2 million in the collector's market under the right conditions. And that's not just hype. That's based on real demand, rare minting anomalies, and historical significance that we're about to uncover together. So make sure you stay with me till the end, because not only will I show you exactly what makes this coin so valuable, but I'll also reveal subtle clues that could help you identify one in your own pocket. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next in this series either, because the coins I'll be talking about later get even more mysterious and shocking. Let's dive deep into the story of the 2000p dime. a coin that on the surface looks completely normal, but hides secrets that even seasoned collectors sometimes overlook. Back in the year 2000, the United States Mint in Philadelphia produced millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes. These coins were part of everyday circulation, used in vending machines, handed out as change, and stored away in jars across the country. Nothing about them seemed extraordinary, at least not at first glance. But beneath that ordinary appearance lies a fascinating truth. During the minting process, even the smallest inconsistency can create what collectors call an error coin. And in the world of numismatics, errors are where fortunes are born. The 2000p dime is particularly interesting because of a handful of extremely rare minting anomalies that slipped through quality control. Some of these dimes were struck with misaligned dies, creating slightly off-center designs that are barely noticeable unless you know what to look for. Others were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal disc used wasn't even intended for a dime. Imagine holding a dime that was accidentally stamped on a blank mint for another coin. That's the kind of mistake that can skyrocket value into the hundreds of thousands or even millions. And then there are the ultra-rare cases of double die errors, where the design appears subtly duplicated due to a misalignment during the striking process. To the untrained eye, it might just look like a blurry coin, but to a collector, it's a jackpot waiting to be claimed. What makes this even more thrilling is that these coins were released into circulation, meaning they could still be out there, in your drawer, your car, or even in your wallet right now. Over the years, there have been reports of collectors discovering valuable 2000p dimes in the most unexpected places. One story that continues to circulate in collector communities is about a man who found a strange-looking dime while sorting through loose change at a gas station. At first, he almost dismissed it, but something about the lettering caught his eye. After having it examined by an expert, it turned out to be a rare double die error, a coin that later fetched an astonishing price at auction. Stories like this fuel the obsession among collectors, driving them to search tirelessly through rolls of coins, hoping to strike gold, or in this case, silver-colored fortune. But here's where things get even more intense. Not every 2000p dime is valuable. In fact, most are only worth their face value. The difference between a 10-cent coin and a $1 million treasure lies in the tiniest details, microscopic differences that require patience, knowledge, and sometimes a bit of luck to identify. This is why collectors are willing to pay such massive amounts for verified rare specimens. It's not just about the coin itself. It's about the story, the rarity, and the thrill of owning something that almost nobody else has. And while you're thinking about that, I want you to keep something in mind. This is only the beginning. Because coming up next are coins that take this concept to an entirely new level. Coins with secrets so bizarre that even experts couldn't believe they existed when they were first discovered. But before we get there, let's go even deeper into what makes the 2000p dime so special. Another factor that drives its value is condition. In the coin world, condition is everything. A coin that has been circulated for years, scratched and worn, might not fetch much. But a coin that has been preserved in near-perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, can multiply its value exponentially. Now imagine combining a rare minting error with pristine condition. That's when prices start reaching into the millions. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but when you do, it's worth more than most people's lifetime earnings. Auction houses have seen fierce bidding wars over rare dimes, with collectors pushing prices higher and higher, driven by the fear of missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And that fear is real, because once a rare coin disappears into a private collection, it may never be seen again. That's why every new discovery sends shockwaves through the numismatic community. People start checking their coins again, hoping that maybe, just maybe, they've been holding on to a hidden treasure all along. So the next time you receive change, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Check the date. Look at the mint mark. Examine the details, because hidden among those ordinary coins could be something extraordinary. And remember, this is just one coin in a much larger story. There are others out there, coins with even stranger errors, even rarer histories, and even bigger surprises waiting to be uncovered. So stay with me. Keep your curiosity alive, and don't go anywhere. Because if you thought the 2000p dime was incredible, what's coming next will completely change the way you look at coins forever. Next, 2006 one dime to my YouTube channel. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion. And today we're diving into one of the most shocking examples of that truth. The 2000p one dime. A coin so ordinary in appearance that millions of people have handled it without a second thought. Yet hidden among those everyday pieces are ultra-rare variations rumored to be worth as much as $2 million. Yes, you heard that right. A tiny 10-cent coin potentially worth more than luxury cars, more than houses, more than what many people earn in a lifetime. And the real twist is that some of these coins may still be out there in circulation right now, waiting to be discovered by someone who simply decides to look a little closer. Now imagine for a moment that the next time you open your wallet or check your spare change, you might be holding a life-changing piece of history. Because the highest reported collector estimates for certain rare error variants of the 2000p Roosevelt dime have reached up to an astonishing $2 million in pristine condition, especially when tied to rare minting anomalies and near-perfect preservation. And before we go deeper, stay with me till the very end, because the coins coming up next in this series will challenge everything you think you know about pocket change and rarity, with twists that even seasoned collectors never saw coming. Now let's unravel the mystery behind this incredible coin, starting with its origin. The year 2000 marked the beginning of a new millennium, a time filled with excitement, technological growth, and massive production across U.S. mints, including the Philadelphia Mint, which produced billions of Roosevelt dimes that year, stamped with the small P mint mark, making them extremely common at first glance. But here's where things take a fascinating turn. During high-volume production, mistakes happen. And in rare cases, those mistakes become treasures, one of the most talked about. Possibilities for the 2000p dime is the presence of dramatic off-center strikes, where the design appears shifted, leaving part of the coin blank. And while minor off-center errors are somewhat common, extreme versions, especially those still showing a full date, can skyrocket in value. Then there are double die errors, where the design appears slightly duplicated due to misalignment during the die creation process. And although subtle, under magnification, these doubling effects can be stunning, especially on inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust. And collectors are willing to pay enormous sums for sharp, clearly visible examples. But perhaps the most exciting and controversial category tied to the 2000p dime is the rumored transitional error or wrong planchet strike, where a dime is accidentally struck on a planchet mint for another denomination, such as a penny or even a foreign coin blank, resulting in differences in color, weight, and size. These coins are exceptionally rare and often spark bidding wars when authenticated. And while not every claim reaches the $1 million mark, the combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand can push certain specimens into unbelievable territory. Now think about this. Billions of dimes were released into circulation, and most people never examine them closely, which means these rare variants could have passed through countless hands unnoticed, sitting in jars, drawers, or even vending machines. And this is exactly what fuels the obsession among collectors, the idea that a fortune could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone observant enough to spot it. Over the years, there have been stories, some confirmed, others debated, of individuals discovering unusual 2000p dimes and having them evaluated, only to learn they possess something far more valuable than expected. And while not every story ends in millions, Even lower-tier errors can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars, proving that attention to detail truly pays off. And here's something most casual collectors overlook. Condition is everything. A heavily worn error coin might only fetch a fraction of its potential value. But a coin in near-perfect, uncirculated condition with a strong error can multiply in worth dramatically, which is why experts recommend handling coins carefully and storing them properly once you suspect something unusual. Now let's talk about why collectors chase this coin so aggressively. Beyond the errors themselves, there's a psychological factor, the thrill of the hunt, the idea that among billions of identical-looking coins, only a handful carry these hidden secrets. It's like a real-world treasure hunt that anyone can participate in. No special tools required beyond patience and curiosity. And that accessibility is what makes coins like the 2000p dime so captivating. But don't relax just yet, because as we move forward, I'll be revealing even more surprising aspects of coin collecting that could completely change how you look at your everyday money. And remember, the next coins we'll explore are surrounded by even deeper mysteries and rarer anomalies, ones that collectors whisper about and sometimes doubt even exist. So keep watching closely. Coming back to our 2000p dime, another factor contributing to its legendary status is the modern era in which it was produced. Unlike ancient coins or early American currency, this is a coin from our lifetime, making it even more astonishing that such immense value could be attached to it. It challenges the assumption that only old coins can be valuable, proving instead that rarity and error are often more important than age. And if you're wondering how to identify one of these potentially valuable coins, start by examining the mint mark just above the date. Look closely for irregularities in the lettering. Check the edges for unusual thickness or missing sections, and if possible, use a magnifying glass to inspect for doubling or strange textures. Even a small anomaly could be the key to something extraordinary. But here's the catch. Many people overlook these details entirely, spending these coins without a second thought, which is exactly why some of these rare pieces remain undiscovered, quietly circulating through the economy, passing from person to person, never recognized for what they truly are. And that brings us to the emotional core of this story, the idea that something so small and seemingly insignificant could hold the power to transform a life overnight. It's a reminder that value isn't always obvious, and sometimes the greatest opportunities are hiding in the most ordinary places. So the next time you receive change, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to look, because that simple act could be the difference between 10 cents and $2 million. And if you think this coin is already unbelievable, just wait until you see what's coming next, because the next coin in our journey has a story so strange, so unexpected, that even experienced collectors were left speechless when its secrets were finally uncovered. And trust me, you won't want to miss it.